back to First Blood. It is the 20th episode. We've had a long hiatus that has been predicated by drama, careers, ill health, and of course Reddit, the cancerous plague upon the internet. I'm your host, Richard Lewis, and joining me again, I'm super happy to say, are the original co-hosts. It is Brokenshard and Nintendude. How are you guys doing?
Excellent, actually. Thank you for asking. I'm situated here in California in my NA job.
Right.
Yeah, and doing quite good for myself.
Well, we're going to get into that, but how are you doing, Josh? I mean, I know you've been involved in all sorts of shit since we last talked, and we're going to get into detail, but just overall, where are you at right now? How are you feeling?
Well, let's see. A year ago, I was in California, I was healthy, and I was primed to make LCS. Now I'm back in Ohio, I have fucking epilepsy, and I'm not anywhere near LCS, and Brokenshard is. So I'm doing horrible. Thanks, Richard.
That's the worst part, isn't it? I mean, the fact that, like, you were telling us, oh, yeah, I'm going to be in LCS, it's going to be great, and you're not, and Brokenshard is. I mean... Yeah,
it can't get any worse, so...
We'll talk about it. I mean, on a serious note, let's sort of rewind. I'll start with you while you're here, Josh. It was a bit of a weird sort of stutter to your time on the show because you had all of that going on with Fusion. It looked like, you know, you were going to do great things and achieve the goal of getting back into LCS. And then obviously that didn't happen. But what was going on in the background was you were having this terrible, sort of ill health period, which was very serious. There was talks about you having seizures and things like this that made it to the Reddit. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are wanting to know where you're at right now, you know, how well are you feeling? But just tell us all about that shit and how it happened.
Okay, so, wow, it's almost been a year now. So, the first thing I remember was back in, like, it was probably around Christmas time. We're coming on Christmas time last year. I woke up and I was at home at the time, you know, visiting home for Christmas break. And I woke up and I noticed it was like 3 a.m. and I had fallen out of bed. And like every muscle in my body was super tired. I was like, that's weird. So I just crawled back into bed and I went back to sleep. Woke up the next day, I was like, I don't feel right. So I go back out to California. I wake up again feeling like absolute shit. And we have scrims that day. We play the first block, and then the second block gets canceled. I'm like, oh, thank God. And I take a nap. It's like about 3 p.m. And then the next thing I know, I'm waking up in an ambulance, and they're telling me, dude, you just had a seizure. I'm like, what the hell? Like, no, I didn't. Like, what the hell's going on? So I get told I had a seizure, and I have that exact same feeling as I did when I was back home. I was like, wow, this makes a lot of sense. So I was probably having seizures like way before, you know, the whole Reddit thing came out. Oh, Nintendo X just had a seizure. This could have been going on since like maybe high school or something, because I remember a few times like waking up, like not only out of bed, but waking up and like, oh my God, I can't move. So, I mean, that stuff's really scary, but it's something that I've been dealing with. I've been okay with. I'm on medication for now. Yeah. So, I mean, I had a relapse seizure in, September, but I've changed medication since. And honestly, I've been feeling better on these medications than I did on that one. So fingers crossed. And I don't know, I'm feeling fine now.
Well, I mean, so is that... Sorry, go on.
It was just really amazing that you were able to seize all these opportunities while you're having those issues.
As if we'd started like that. Welcome back. We're doing seizure jokes.
You really shook up the scene when we found out that you were having.
You know, at first I was really upset about jokes like that. I don't really care if it comes from my friends and stuff, but like, when just assholes on like Twitter make it. But
what, people were giving you shit about it?
Yeah. I mean,
it's the
fucking internet, Richard. Come on.
Surely people wouldn't like go there, right?
Oh, of course they would. What the hell? But I mean, they're just randos on Twitter, just egg trolls. But
I've been making these jokes with Josh for a long time now.
Lately, yeah, like I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. It's something I'm gonna have to deal with. I don't know.
I
guess.
Richard, you need to see Josh now in person. This guy lost so much weight.
Yeah,
he looks
45
fucking
pounds.
good. He has a really hot girlfriend too now. Like
that's something I didn't really mention. Is like back. If you guys will remember when we lost at Dignitas 3-2, I was a fucking whale. Oh my God, go back and look at me. But yeah, I've lost like 40 pounds since, and I'm pretty happy about that. So
Jesus,
humble brag there.
Is that the official diagnosis then? It was like undiagnosed epilepsy?
It's nighttime epilepsy or nocturnal epilepsy is what it's called.
Holy
it just happens
shit.
when I'm asleep, so it's not like I just feel the effects when I wake up from it, which is pretty terrifying, but
That's
it's not like
crazy though. Like it happens when you're
kinda.
asleep when you can't do anything about it. Like
Yeah, dude, it's a fucking brain issue. You know, it's there's like wires and shit in your brain, man. You don't know what's going on in there.
fuck.
I mean, I don't know. Let's talk about something less depressing though. Fuck.
No,
Fuck
come on. It's good. We're getting to a good part.
I know. What else? Like,
We've
what else is
turned
there
the
to
corner,
talk
Josh.
about, man?
We've turned the corner. It's all good. You're on medication. You said you're healthy. You're well. Ram's telling me you've got a hot girlfriend. Obviously, that pervert had to focus on that. But
what can I say? It's Reddit's fault for sending me into a depressive state, fucking with my brain, causing me to have epilepsy. So
good.
Thank
there
you,
we
Reddit.
Go. There we are. Thank you. That's what I wanted you to say. That's all I wanted you to say. So I knew Reddit was.
It's either that or Riot. One of the two. Just pick one.
So just before we move on to Ram and his miraculous career turnaround as well, I want to talk to you about your playing career because obviously in all of that there was the sort of fusion problem. You know, that team kind of fell a bit, and since then you've been sort of, I don't know, obviously you're not going hard. You know, you're back in college, but you have been still poking around the periphery. I mean, is there still a possibility that you'll be getting involved playing again?
I don't know. I don't want to be the person that says, "Oh, I'm not going to be playing again," and then like shows up on a team. I think that's just kind of a dick move to people who follow you and stuff. So I guess I'm not going to say no, but I'm not interested right now. Like, you're not going to see me poking around a challenger team right now. I mean, you saw that like a month, 2 months ago, and that just went fucking horribly. So I'm not interested in that right now. But I don't know. Maybe like
let's talk about why that went so horribly, because I remember distinctly saying a particular person made it a disaster.
Was it Coobs?
Coobs? Was it Coobs?
Oh my god,
it's your boy Coobs.
Never hang on, right? Because obviously we've had Coobs on the show a lot, and I like Coobs.
Yeah.
I'm a cool guy. You know, he's obviously done some things in the past that you know he's not proud of. It's not like he's ever choked anyone. So I mean, you know, I don't feel I can judge too harsh.
Who would do that?
Unforgivable.
Yeah, which exactly, it is the most unforgivable crime ever of all time. So what was going wrong there? And why were you even playing with him? And why was he a player?
Oh my god,
he wasn't a player. He was a
player. He was a coach.
Oh, right. So he was the coach. So come on, then. That's what he does for a day job. Let's crucify our friend. Come on.
Okay, so I'm gonna take you back to the beginning, which I think I was being asked by a Winter Fox to like fill for scrims or something because they were doing these like 5v5 in-houses because they wanted to try people out. They're like, we're short a jungler. So I played in that, I guess. And here's the problem though. Coobs was the fucking coach that was putting this team together. And Coobs has this fucking boner for me for whatever reason. And so he was like, I want Nintendude on the team. So he managed to sweet talk me into the team. I ended up playing with these guys. And I like playing with the guys. There's like Acadian and KP Smurf and Impactful. I really like Impactful, Low Pally. So I was having fun playing with them. I didn't really have any obligation at the time other than scrim. So I was like, this is fine. I'm not doing anything else really major right now. So I played with them. And then we were doing okay at the beginning because I guess like honeymoon period stuff. And then we just started losing. And well, Coobs was the coach. And I don't know. He pisses a lot of people off very easily because he's so damn cocky. And here's the problem with a cocky coach. Your players start to like, oh my god. Either your players eat it up and they love it, or they're like, this coach has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. They just ignore everything he says. Yeah. So I think everybody kind of had the consensus that Coobs is fucking annoying. So one of our players left. And because of that, I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. This is a train wreck. I'm out too. So that was the end of that. And, we were playing like shit, but I'd like to think that Coobs was part of the reason too, because he is so fucking cocky. Oh my god. We're losing to like people you've never even heard of. He's like, we're just going to fucking stop him the next game. It's going to be so easy. It's just like, oh my god. He's only put up with so much of that.
I know exactly what you're fucking talking about.
Ram, who's had the pleasure of working with Coobs as well.
Yeah, well, come on, get in on this then.
No,
about the Coobs coach.
Come on. We gotta fucking
So
Eiffel Tower Cubes, let's go.
particularly hate Cubes. Like
no one hates him. I consider him a friend. He's all right,
I actually have grown to like him, but I mean, I don't blame people for hating him because.
I met the guy again at Summer. I may have met him before, but I saw him at Summoner's Con. He's a cool dude, but like, oh my god, as a coach.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I just can't have a professional relationship with this guy.
Innerflame, there he is. Joe.
Thank you. So just to sidetrack, so Innerflame, our English manager, has gotten the entire team hooked on English Tips tea. Sorry, what is it called?
PG Tips. Sorry. It's the one with the monkeys.
Yeah, it's the chimps. No, but no, but it's he's got everybody hooked on the tea, and it's so good. So I'm gonna just take a sip.
Hooked on the tea. Well, look, I'm Josh. I'm sorry that your attempts to come back were hampered by the rogue element that is Cubes. But I'm glad that your health's doing well. I'm sure we'll all agree with that, and I'm sure you're going to turn the corner. And I still don't think the dream is over, Josh. I think we're going to see you play again. It's going to be like.
Richard, that's exactly what Richard was telling me. He said we're going to make LCS together. It's going to be great. So,
yeah,
slippery slope. A slippery slope.
No, I'm telling you. I've seen the film The Wrestler. Okay, with Mickey Rourke, and I can see you getting that match with the Iron Sheik again. I think it's going to.
You want me to die at the end? Is that what you're telling me?
You don't know he dies at the end. You don't know he dies at the end. It's left up in the air. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't, Josh. Yeah? Think about it. Ram, obviously you had the First Blood curse strike you as well. You had some health problems. You had to undergo some surgery.
Yeah. So I was having some issues for the past, I think it was like almost 5 months with pain in my lower back. And they thought that it was due to a cyst that was there.
Right.
And so I had surgery to basically remove the cyst.
Mm-hmm.
And the pain kind of went away for a while. It was a short, really surgery. I was not under. It was local anesthesia. They just took it, cut in, opened this drained the cyst out. Yeah. It was just in my lower back, like above the tailbone. And so they thought this was the problem. Unfortunately, that wasn't the problem. The problem is that I had kidney stones. I had 3 kidney stones for the longest time. I had no idea about, and I only started finding out about it, I think around the time about Ice Series, a little bit before Ice Series, where I almost didn't go because I was basically pissing blood. Sweet. And then there was this entire process of
Still
fucking.
went though, of course.
I did, of course. Go.
Still went, of course. Still got hammered every night, of course.
Can't miss UK lands, Yeah, UK lands for the win. But what happened was basically they thought it was not a blood infection, a urine infection or whatever. So I took antibiotics for it. Didn't help. Started feeling more and more pain. I finally fucking got a CT, and they see 3 kidney stones, and I'm like, well, fuck me. I'm about to get absolutely analed. Had the surgery to remove the kidney stones, and I think the week and a half, 2 weeks after that was the worst weeks of my life. Just the pre-surgery and the post-surgery and the actual surgery.
It was worse than dying a Red Buff.
I drink 3 liters of water every day now, so I don't get them again.
Yeah. So they hurt like a motherfucker.
No, they're really bad. Like I wouldn't wish this on even my worst enemies.
Yeah.
Not even on Red Buff.
Yeah.
Not even Red Buff.
Not even Red Buff. But it isn't all bad, okay? So even though we've all been in the doldrums health-wise, you seem to have carved out a successful career somehow, Ram. I don't know how the fuck this happened.
The fuck are you on about?
Well, you're a coach, aren't you?
Well, I was with Diggy U since February of this year. Yeah. I started playing, and I was playing for that team in the beginning, and then halfway through the year, we decided to do a roster swap, which I would move to coach and would pick up some new players to fill the roster. Full Danish, just to get the solid team. And there were some issues during the team, but we ended up making the LCS, which was obviously the goal. And I made OD about $1 million in return. He says, "Here, go to the States. Here's your offer of 5.5 fucking K." and enjoy. No. But I've been working with the org for almost a year now, and I really like the way that OD runs Dignitas and the way that it's been run. So even though I was receiving other offers to coach actual teams, some Challenger, some LCS, I ended up deciding to stay with Dignitas and being with the team that was kept after one was sold. So yeah, here we are.
How's coaching? I mean, is it fun? Have you learned anything from Coobs?
Learned things not to do from Coobs.
Oh my God. Poor Coobs.
I know. He'll probably call in a minute, man. Like, I know he'll be loitering and he'll be like, can I just call in a second and just clarify a few things?
So this is my first time actually coaching an LCS team. I've only done Challenger before. Every single one of them has always been Challenger, so it's definitely opened my eyes a little bit to things that I need to change and the ways that I need to act. I mean, people think that I'm like a memer or just like a jokester, which I kind of
definitely are. You're the only person I ever know who has released an official statement saying, guys, I got some bad news for everyone. I am no longer going to use memes. You've released a press release.
Yeah. Press release.
To say you won't meme anymore. And still memeing, by the way.
I mean, I'm not doing it much anymore. I've cut down a little bit, and I'm not serious. I'm serious. I'm trying to.
What is the addictive quality of a meme?
It's not addictive quality. It's just my personality trait. I'm a jokester. I like to make jokes. I like to be funny. And the problem is that when you're trying to be funny all the time, there's an element of seriousness that's taken away. So obviously, I take my job seriously, and I try to work hard so that I can do my job well. And when I'm working, when we're scrimming, I don't I don't joke around. I'm serious as possible and shit like that. But
you never seen Nintendude using memes?
I do see Nintendude using memes. Nintendude's like
you're not looking hard enough, Richard. You're not looking hard enough.
The thing is though that as a player, it's not that big of a deal if you're a troll. Because it's kind of like an accepted thing. But if you're a coach, if you're a troll on social media or just a troll personality, people won't take you seriously.
Yeah.
So
you're a responsible adult now, Ram.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 22, so technically, yeah. But yeah, it's like I do take what I do seriously. I'm gonna try my best to keep my social media a bit cleaner, more professional, obviously, to reflect the job. But I mean, obviously, it's an internal struggle because I just love to make jokes and be that kind of guy. But that's basically the biggest thing I've learned is that if I want to be a serious coach, I have to be a serious coach. Some advice that I got from other people in the scene was you got to dress for the job, and they don't mean by suit up. You know what I mean? So I took a lot of advice. I took a lot of advice from different coaches. I speak to almost like all the professional coaches as much as I can to discuss like philosophies and things that they do that I can pick up from.
How are you finding it though? I mean, because it's a lot different to being a player, as you're finding out. You've got to cut down on your memes. But what's the workload like? What's the kind of responsibility like? How are you finding it in terms of stress levels and everything else? Because we all know that being a player can be pretty fucking stressful. I'd imagine being a coach is more.
It's definitely more, because the thing about coaches is that if you want to be a good coach, you have to take responsibility for everything. So every small thing is entirely your fault, which I'm totally fine accepting. I've been used to being the punching bag for a very long time. Workload wise, I would say it's more, because not only do you scrim for 6 hours, but you plan before the scrims. Yeah. I watch replays after the scrims. I take notes. Actually, this notebook was like less than like half full before, because I wasn't using it for the Challenger team. I was using a Google Doc, but I've been using this for the LCS team, and in a span of a week, I've almost filled this entire notebook up with notes. So there's a lot that needs to be taken down. And
it's drink more water. That's all it is for like 50% of the pages, though, right? You can be honest.
No.
I reckon. I reckon. Go on, show us some of your notes. Go on, just flick quickly. Tell me how full it is.
Okay. So I can show you like the old one. So these are just like.
Because I've always thought those books that the coaches have are just props.
So this is just like pick ban drafts.
Okay, that's like a page worth of pick ban though. You just have like 70 pick bans though.
No. But that was from before. This is
just notes. They're notes. They're just pick bans.
Our esports festival, but all right. So let me get like our recent.
Having a dig to find any actual work he's done.
He's having a dig.
No, Odie told me to grill him. Odie said, grill this motherfucker. I don't know if he's working.
So this is about like a day of scrims right here, like all these pages.
Okay, they're not even front and back. You're just look at that. The back's wide open.
There are some in the back, but I don't like to. I like to keep it like clean and shit. You know, like I don't like to use back because I use a thick pen. But
doodles and stuff like super bad.
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah,
Yo,
I just saw dicks. You know, whenever we shit on a team, like when we dick on a team, I just draw a big dick, so I know that we dicked on them.
Okay, Ram, how do you not lose? As a former player, Ram, how do you not lose your fucking mind being in like the coach's shoes, where you're not in game and you can't help in that aspect? I would lose my mind.
I'm used to it by now. It's like it was definitely the most difficult thing to adjust to, especially since when I joined G2, I went straight from being like a player to a coach, and I still felt that I could play the game, and I was watching people just like fuck around in game, and I'm like, if I was playing, I would call it that way. Those thoughts are like super toxic, and it's just not acceptable to be thinking shit like that. As a coach, it's your job to help them figure that out, rather than say I could have done that better.
Did you just say the word? Did you just say my fucking trigger word, Ram?
What, choke?
The word toxic?
Strangle? What,
no,
choke?
obviously that's not my trigger word. I find that erotic.
Dota 2?
You just said toxic. They got to you, man.
I mean, I think
they got to you, brother.
I mean, it's legit. Okay. What's another word to say toxic? Like, okay, if you had to pick a synonym, what would it be to that word right there?
I don't know, cuntish.
Okay, I can't say. Okay, so I know Odie's watching this show. I can't say that. He's taught me not to say that in fucking stream.
How can he not say it? He got fined for using the word cunt.
Yeah, but he pays me.
Okay.
I gotta.
Fuck me, man.
He owes you $1 million. What the fuck? Whatever the hell you want.
We got to keep it real now. Ram is part of the man. Ram is part of the man. I never thought.
Hey, I'm just trying to give a serious answer to a serious question. You asked me what I learned or things that I'm doing different now, and I'm telling you exactly what's going through my head. Yeah, you're gonna be a dick if you're gonna be a dick about it, and just you're metaphorically choking me right now, Lewis.
I'm not. This is exactly what you signed up for. You knew how it would be. I'm not even going to go into my shit, by the way, because I think it's.
Oh, how convenient, Richard!
No, how convenient for you.
How convenient!
You're literally choking the information right now.
So since the last episode of First Blood, I've stopped working at the Daily Dot. I now work at a right-wing conservative publication.
Got fired from the Daily Dot. Next.
Oh, come on! You know I didn't get fired.
I know that go, Richard.
What's that, sir? How did DreamHack go? Okay, so
yeah, I heard that for some people, you literally took their breath away.
I did, mate. I did. But look, so okay. If you guys want to give me, do you have any questions about it? Because obviously I've already said it, and I don't want to hammer it to death. Unlike some people. But let's. If you've got anything that's specific you want to ask about any of my shit, then ask away. I don't mind. I'm a big boy.
Did you go after Loda and Dota 2 as a whole because you love Riot Games so much and you just wanted to like choke out the Dota 2? Dude, have you turned a new page, Richard?
I saw a comment, right? This is no shit, and it was like, obviously Richard Lewis has always hated Dota 2 and all of its players because he's such a Riot fanboy. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Unreal.
Is that legit? Like. It's like that Inven comment saying Thorin is a Riot dick sucker. It's just like people are so detached from fucking reality. Just they want to create a narrative. I mean, that was the whole thing that happened with the DreamHack situation. Ultimately,
no. But so let's actually talk about what you've been doing. You've been doing a lot of CS:GO, and I didn't take you to be like an actual game analyst, but dude, you sure know your shit. Like I watch a lot.
Don't tell anyone that in Counter-Strike because they'll all tell you it's not true.
Yeah, but obviously everywhere you go, people hate your guts because I mean you're a dick. But still, you do good work. Like you and Thorin, you run the desk, and I've been watching a lot of CS:GO lately, and I've honestly grown to really appreciate the esport and love the esport because it's become honestly my favorite esport to watch now.
Yeah, well, I've said, and you guys know that. I think it always perplexed me why it wasn't more popular. Why MOBAs were kind of the first sort of esport to blow up, because you've got all these layers of complexity. You've got to know the heroes. I think they're the kind of games that, unless you're prepared to sit down and watch a lot of it and watch a lot of people explaining what's going on. An FPS, by contrast, is very easy to pick up. It's like it's a guy with a gun, and if he shoots the dude and he dies, he doesn't die, and that's it. And that's all you really need to know. And then from that very simple understanding, you get to build up all these other additional layers, the tactical element, weapons and stuff. It's a lot easier to get into. Plus, it's just way more visceral in terms of, you can appreciate a really fast, crosshair movement.
I feel like the casters as well, like your two best casters are Semler and Anders. In my opinion.
Absolutely.
And they just make it easy, they make it easy to follow. And even if you're someone who understands the game to like a really high level, you're still being entertained by them.
Yeah, but I mean, so I think, and again, I guess we'll get into shitting on Riot a little bit later in the show. But I think we can see now that, one of the downsides of Riot's model of how they approach talent is that you end up with this sort of conveyor belt of very generic commentators that all sort of want to adhere to the same style. Then you look over at what we've got going on in CSGO in terms of commentary. I mean, apart from the fact that I think Anders and Semler completely reinvented the dynamic you have between casters, where rather than doing play-by-play analysis, they then just tell a story and they both chip in and talk over each other and build layers. And it is about telling a story through the medium of the game. But we've got so many different types of caster that bring so much to the table and different types of desk talent, For example, if you look at some of the hosts we've got in CSGO, you've got Scoots, who's very different to Chobra, who's very different to me. We all bring our personality to the table, whereas if this was like a Riot broadcast, we'd all be we'd all be put in a box, right? It wouldn't matter who was sat in the chair, you'd all be doing the same shit. And it's the same with the commentators. We've all talked before about when the new guys came in after Joe and D-Man went, that there was all this kind of forced humor that didn't really work, cringeworthy jokes. And that's obviously part of the broadcast remit. They want to try and keep everything as uniform as possible.
The freak puns, dude. What about the mad puns of damage?
I know, man. The puns of damage, right? And everyone feels almost compelled to sort of propagate this way of doing things in Counter-Strike, man. Everyone's got their own style. You look at James Bardolph and DDK, for example. They're radically different to Anders and Semler. Yet I would probably rate them as the second best duo we've got in Counter-Strike.
So I guess what you're trying to say is that Counter-Strike has more individual casting styles, where Riot tries to conform every caster to the same style.
Yeah, because
I think
the whole Monte Cristo versus Jat debate.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to get into that, right?
I've actually talked to some casters and people, and they've had Riot give them, well, you're more like Monte Cristo, and we'd like someone more like a Jat. Like, they're using it as a spectrum, which makes no sense because both are good casters, but they're trying to have everyone be a Jat, where I think someone like a Monte Cristo is super valuable for casting. Like, I can enjoy Jat's casting as much as I can enjoy Monty's casting. It's just different types of ways, different types of speaking about the game.
I was going to say, I think that's why people appreciate Monty and Doa so much, is because it's such a breath of fresh air for people. Like, admittedly, Doa's not the smartest person about the game. He's a great play-by-play caster. I mean, he's not, a lot of the times he's just plain wrong. And Monte Cristo's not always right himself, but he does a great job of just, explaining the game and not in a way that, Chat and Freak won't give to you. I think that's why it's, there's such a breath of fresh air for people. That's why they like him so much. So I don't think it's because they're the best, but it's definitely different. And for me, that's really enjoyable.
With recent drama, it looks like obviously they won't be, they might not be around too much longer. I tell you what then, look, I had structured the show a very different way, but this follows on quite nicely. So let's just get into the Riot and Korean shit. I mean, I know we were going to do a miniature worlds recap, but I'll just bring it back. Fuck, it's a first show, so fuck the order. Let's just have a conversation. So obviously we know what's been going on between Riot and OGN. It doesn't really it's not worth wasting the time kind of repeating it. I'm sure everyone who's watching does have kind of a solid overview of what's been happening. But basically the long and the short of it is OGN are going to lose their sort of exclusive broadcast rights of the LCK, and not only that, we know Riot have copyrighted a bunch of shit that looks very similar to the OGN experience and the OGN broadcast, and they're saying we're gonna take over now after everything, OGN and the Korean scene and Kesper and all these individual parts of the infrastructure. We're going to take over that now because it's part of our long-term plan to legitimize esports as a sport. As if Korea hadn't already achieved that, as if OGN hadn't already achieved that, as if Kesper hadn't achieved that in another game before League of Legends fucking existed. And of course, the underlying storyline in all of this is what will happen to Monte Cristo and Doha, because we know Riot don't like Monte Cristo. We know they have an issue with him being critical of them publicly, and indeed they have an issue with anyone who's critical of them publicly. So there is a realistic chance that the guy I think is the best Western analyst, especially of the Korean scene, is going to find himself without anywhere to go, without a home, and it might even get so marginalized he has to start doing a broadcast in another sport. So since we're talking about Monty, open floor to you guys. I mean, do we think this is what's going to happen? Is this the inevitable, terrible end?
Let's be real. Okay, Monty's not going anywhere. All right. I think there was an article written recently where he's one of the big voices of the game. Like, no matter how hard Riot try to push it, pyrotechnics, while a good caster, is never going to have the same level of knowability. Knowability, is that even a word? Recognition, and respect as a caster as Monte Cristo. He's one of the, I would say, like the big four casters of League of Legends that just kind of make him unique to the game. And if he doesn't cast League anymore, you can expect there to be a huge problem. However, Monte Cristo not only is a League caster, he's just a caster in general. I definitely see him branching out into other games. Like, let's be real, League of Legends is no longer the only esport in the world. Counter-Strike Go, while it's not big in Korea, is becoming a big esport. Heroes of the Storm, it's not big yet, but it's growing. And I was at BlizzCon for the finals, and it's definitely like getting to that level, albeit quite slowly. This Vainglory game seems to be getting a lot of views. I don't particularly like this game, but it's like seems to be getting some traction. And I mean, obviously, Overwatch is going to be an esport. Like, this game is fantastic. Everything about it just screams esport. I think it's going to be a great esport. It might rival Counter-Strike at some point. It'll take some time, but it'll get there.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. So, Josh, what do you think? I mean, I honestly believe we're witnessing the sort of end of Monte Cristo. I think how Riot are going to package it is, I think they'll publicly say, "Hey, Monte Cristo is the owner of a team. How can we possibly have him working on an official Riot broadcast in any capacity?" I think that's the excuse they'll use. That's been telegraphed a while. I've spoke with my usual shadowy internal sources about this. So do you think Monte Cristo could get pushed out? Ram doesn't seem to think so.
I feel like you're putting a very Richard Lewis Riot conspiracy spin on this and saying they're going to go out of their way. I mean, maybe they'll part ways. Maybe Monty won't be able to cast League anymore, but he's got the personality and the voice that he's going to find success somewhere else. It won't be the end of Monte Cristo.
And there's no doubt about that. But that's what I mean. I think League of Legends loss will be someone else's game.
I mean, maybe. I mean, we lost Joe and D-Man, right? I mean, it still lives. It's fine. But
I mean, they left on their own accord.
Exactly. It's like either way, if we lose Monty, it won't be the end of the world. I think the biggest issue here is Riot saying, we're gonna tackle esports in Korea. I mean, are you kidding me? Esports in Korea has existed since Brood War.
Let's talk about this, right? There are employees in Riot that were still sucking their mom's tits when Korean pros were winning tons of money.
Exactly.
Some of us were doing that this morning. Now that's a gross joke.
That's a terrible joke.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Please, it's not nice to talk about Nintendude's mom like that. Patty Atkins.
I wasn't doing that. I was gonna go. All the abuse is gonna go onto you, mate.
Yeah, sound. But listen, like, I spoke a lot to Monte Cristo at London Worlds, and I literally asked him, all right, what do you think is why is there a big divide? And he straight up said, infrastructure. And I asked him to elaborate, and he says, well, Korea's been doing something for 25 years that Western esports have only been attempting to do for the last year. All right. Yeah. No matter how talented some people are going to be in the West, because there are talented people at the job, you're never going to be able to match up to 10, 15 years of experience. All right.
Well,
this applies to everything in Korean esports. They've literally been doing what Riot's been doing. Like, they've been doing it for 25 years. Riot's been doing it for 5 years. Yes, Riot have been growing very quickly, but I think this is like, I think they're trying to wave their dick in the wrong place here. Like, I don't think they need to tackle Korean esports, because out of everything that's going on in League of Legends esports, I don't think stability in Korean esports is right there. I mean, we have a failing challenger scene in two of the big regions. Okay? We have on a region that's like, no offense, like I've seen some really talented NA players, but it's nowhere near the level that there is in the other 3 regions. We see a failing challenger region in North America talent-wise. We see EU Challenger being basically dominated by who has the better DDoS. Like, there are things that they could be investing resources in that will actually improve esports as a whole. I don't think that spearheading Korea and bringing stability to Korean esports is the right agenda.
Josh?
To kind of build off that is with the NA, like pretty much challenger players in general, like they have very little incentive to like continue to grow and play, especially in North America. Why the hell would you continue to play when you just have billionaires that are just going to get someone from another region and they're just going to take like 3 LCS veterans or whatever and make a team? And I think it's kind of funny because Riot kind of has to roll with these punches. I don't necessarily think they're super happy with it, but like because of the rules, they kind of have to deal with it. I mean, there's a reason that they made the rule after LMQ, or else there probably would have been by now like 10 super foreign made teams in here.
I mean, there was one that was going to Europe. It was Samsung Red.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think even necessarily Riot's happy with it, because the whole time they had to play it off like, yeah, LMQ's a North American Challengers team. They're here because of the American dream. And then suddenly 4 of them are gone. We get left with Xiao Xiao. But I think the biggest problem here is the incentive for, the Challenger series to develop. It's kind of gone. It's like, why would you do it when they're just going to buy fucking Huni and Rain over? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, this is a problem. I mean, I know I think both of you guys might have had an intimate experience in this regard, and I've talked about this a lot. I don't know what rules we need to put in place to fix this, but I can see a fundamental injustice in the way League of Legends works, more so than other sports, where 5 players slog away through Challenger. And I mean, we all know Challenger's a fucking shit show. I mean, we all know that. We know that there's teams out there right now who they look the business, right? They've got the shirts. They're doing all the social media stuff. They got huge Twitter followings. They're not getting paid a cent to be in a challenger team. They're getting food and board. They're getting the equivalent of a free night stay in a hotel for 3 months. And they slog away. They get promoted. And this is the point where you're like, yeah, we all get salaries. Yeah, we're in the league. Yeah, we're going to get more exposure. Yeah, we're going to get to play at the highest level and play against all of the guys that we looked up to and we admired. And then the owner of that team turns around and goes, bit of change of plan. I was just using you to effectively farm a spot that is now worth $1 million in the current climate. And I'm going to sell for that $1 million. P.S. You don't get a fucking penny, and the new owners are going to drop you as soon as they fucking can. So I can see a fundamental injustice with that. What can we do to prevent shit like that happening?
Okay, so on one hand, people are going to go and defend this and say, well, if an owner is spending $1 million for this team, they're going to want to put as many talented players in it as possible. You know? You have to remember that not every LCS sale is like that, all right? Curse Academy to Gravity wasn't like that. Dignitas EU to Splice wasn't like that, albeit there was a roster change that, in all honesty, was going to happen no matter what. Even if they didn't make LCS, that roster change was happening. It was one player. There have been lots of sales like that. In reality, there's only been one sale where an LCS team has been sold and every single player has been dropped. Or everyone.
Coast, right?
Yeah, it's literally just Coast to Energy.
Coast.
And it's literally been a wake-up call to a lot of people. It's like, hey, wait a second. We could sell this spot to people who have billions of dollars, and then they can just do whatever the fuck they want with their roster. So a lot of people are going to defend these people and say, well, they're going to invest this much. Obviously, they're going to want a winning team, right? Which I think
also
this
other arguments like you want a return on your investment. So it's like, oh, they deserve it. They invested so much in these players. Like,
you need to tackle this not from the top by targeting the people who are buying these teams, but from the bottom and make Challenger Series like way more competitive and just improve it so that when these players do get to the LCS level, they're not shit. I think tackling the talent is way fucking better.
Yeah. Well,
Immortals was not. Immortals was sold, and they had LCS players already. Immortals have been in the LCS for a year. They were Team 8. All right, it's not the new owner's problem that they didn't like those players. They can do that. These players have been in the LCS for a year. If they're not good, they're not good. No one has any problem with LCS players being replaced. It's the problem that you work through Challenger Series, you make it to the LCS, and then you get replaced. That's, I think, in my opinion, way bigger than you're an LCS player, you're not very good, we're going to replace you with better players.
So, Josh, you were in Fusion, and I am looking B Sins in the chat. Obviously, he was involved in Fusion as well, probably preempting what I'm going to say. But Fusion did have a couple of imports themselves, right? They had Huhi and Macnoon, right? So, I mean, is that something that opened your eyes to maybe the idea of imports not being great for the Challenger Series, or do you think you guys were doing something different that other people aren't?
I don't think we're doing anything too necessarily different than a team that wants to make LCS through NA Challenger, but is willing to get imports would do. I mean, I was really skeptical about it at first. I mean, it took me a while to sign with him because I was like, I don't know how it's going to work with the Koreans. Like, I don't really know Macnoon and Huhi. Ever since I can't regret doing it though. Fusion was a great experience, but it kind of opened my eyes a little bit because playing with Huhi and Macnoon. At the beginning, they both just spanked everybody at their roles. It was like, oh my god, they're just so much better than them. So,
and then the Macnoon tilt comes.
Yeah, and then Macnoon kind of tilted toward the end, and then he ended up leaving. Wasn't as interested.
He drop kicked Nintendude.
More to your point, I guess, was I thought it was a little unfair of an advantage as opposed to the NA Challenger players that we were playing against because the two were just ridiculous. I mean, obviously in the end we didn't make it, but. I don't know. It seems kind of hard for NA Challenger to grow when there's not, everybody's importing players. There's not as much stress in NA solo queue to do well. It's just the big combination of everything that, it goes back to the point of there's very little incentive for a lot of NA Challenger players to get better when stuff like this happens.
So getting back to what we can do to maybe change this, can you guys think of a rule that we realistically would need to put in place to stop this kind of? Because look, I know privately that Riot have said we want millionaires and billionaires and philanthropists and venture capitalists.
Of course, they want
people to own our teams, right? Because they don't want MYMs. They don't want that shit anymore, and I can almost respect that.
In a way, a lot of the people that are coming in, the new owners, are very serious about owning their teams. Obviously, we won't have any more teenage owners like Gravity. Obviously, I love Davis, but it's been very clear that he's not been super serious about getting this team. Riot do want the serious owners. At the same time, they want people from the mainstream to come into League of Legends. They want known billionaires, known entrepreneurs coming in and owning big teams. Dude, Riot would have a fucking orgasm if Mark Cuban suddenly.
I was gonna say, could you imagine if Mark Cuban bought a freaking team?
I'm telling you, they would have a wet dream.
That's gonna come, by the way.
Which I hope so. I'm saying these people from the real world, quote, are very serious. Whereas you have jokes like MYM who are poking their head around. You've got inexperienced organizations as well, but at the same time, it's like some of these owners can be toxic, and just come in because they see big dollar numbers, and it's problematic because at the same time that these big owners are coming in, they're pushing out good organizations. It's an unnamed organization here. I don't want to discuss exactly who it is, but they said it's just become really hard to compete with these billionaires. We are a solid team. We give a good salary, but these people are coming in and they're taking our players by giving them salaries 3 times what we offer, and we just can't compete. So we're probably going to sell our spot. And these are organizations with good infrastructure, good organizational status, good managers, people who are experienced in esports.
Well, that's the other problem. Of
pushed to the side because they simply just can't compete with this inflation.
Yeah.
Well,
and I've heard that as well. Like, team owners have been saying to each other, can you not offer that much? Because we can't compete. You're wrecking the ecosystem. This is bad for all of us because you're artificially inflating players' value, especially in the NA region where you've got a lot of average talent that is getting paid as much as talent that's better in other regions because now we've got all these venture capitalists coming in.
Isn't it kind of like how Walmart drives all the local businesses, out of fuck.
I know what you're saying.
What is the word? Out of the business is out of business. Okay. So because I mean, you got all these rich people. They drive all the local because they can't compete. It's just not fair.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have 10 WalMarts in the LCS playing each other.
Yeah,
but
I know.
I mean, it's great for Riot.
Riot want 10 Walmarts in the LCS.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, arguably, it'd be better for fans in a way, because here's the problem you've got at the moment. It's almost impossible to support an organization because they're here today and gone tomorrow. Like, there'll be someone in the world that's got an MYM tattoo, you know, and he'll be sat there, you know, sadly looking at his shoulder day and night thinking, what the fuck did I do that for? You know, that could have been something else. Like, we need to build stable franchises, and unfortunately what we've proven time and time again, bedroom organizations ain't going to cut it, not for something of the size of the LCS. But
and it's true, like, they want serious people.
There's no getting away from that.
Serious people running their serious league, and that's what Riot like. But there's a way to do that without pushing out these good organizations, you know? Like, there has to be a way to do that.
So getting back to the Korean situation and sort of tying it all together, how do we feel about Riot? I mean, it feels like more so than ever before, they're really trying to bring everything under one umbrella. They want to control absolutely everything. We saw this with the LPL broadcast and how they effectively vetoed Tencent to take control of that, and then they only gave like one of the people initially who were involved in that a job, and then it was two, and then, you know, is Frostgren really in there or not? I mean, I don't know how much longer Riot will be willing to work with her. It almost feels like a token thing on their part because they did come in for criticism, rightly so. Who knows, though? But they do seem to want to bring everything under one umbrella and just have this real sort of homogenous, you know, everything's the same, identity kit.
It's really strange
approach to broadcast.
Really approach, because Riot have a lot of people who are willing to move mountains for them without even being a part of Riot. Like, for example, in the past it was the LPL English stream. Like, they were never a part of Riot. They didn't get paid much or at all actually to do what they do. And then they kind of come in and says, we want to control it. It's like, it feels weird that a big organization is not happy with having these people do so much to push their game forward. It feels like they really just want to be the ones to do it. They want to be the ones to make everything happen. You know, they want to stamp the Riot logo on everything league related, which I think is fine if that's like their agenda and their business like the way that they want to run their business. But I mean, look at CS:GO. It's not like Valve is like slapping their dick on every CS:GO tournament, you know? They kind of just let it happen, and CS:GO has grown because of it. It's like a free esport versus a very controlled league.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. It's the benefit of having a free market where everybody's allowed to have a go at running their own tournament, put their own stamp on it, use the talent they want to, use the format they want to, and as a result,
but let's be real. At the same time, there have been some pretty disgustingly shit CS:GO lands.
Yeah, but I mean, you say that like that wasn't that if we didn't have a free and open market for League of Legends, you know, that would happen there as well. But I don't think Riot are doing it because of quality control issues. The point is that you've got to educate yourself as kind of a community. You know, if you're a manager of a team or a player, you need to be like, okay, this event looks dodgy. Maybe we give it a miss. Or if you go there and you do get fucked over, you then turn around and you're like, okay, well, ain't never going to go back to that tournament anymore. And anyone who was involved in running it, if they try and run another one, I'm going to remember, and we're going to just marginalize them and push them out because it's not acceptable. You know, that's what needs to happen. You can never get to that in League of Legends. In fact, it's impossible for anybody who doesn't want to be part of Riot, or at least be a partner of Riot, to have anything to do with League of Legends whatsoever. I mean, what we do, it's a bit of an aberration, you know. It's just at any role, journalist, you know, player, it all comes back to, will you be involved in the LCS? Will you be involved directly with Riot? If you're willing to do that, then you can have a career talking about or playing League of Legends. If you're not, then you don't. You cannot make money off it. And, you know, you look at what they do with IEM, for example. IEM are limited. This is IEM. If I was Intel, I'd be furious. Because Intel, the IEM, they say world's best gamers. That's been their logo, their kind of motto for ages. World's best gamers. Now it turns out that it's actually not the world's best gamers because of their relationship with Riot. You can't have Dota 2 involved at an IEM. That has to go on ESL 1. So the world's best gamers from Dota 2 aren't in IEM. It's also not the world's best gamers
So
from
what
League of
you're
Legends.
trying to say is that Loda's getting choked out of another thing here, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Loda's having a
Classic Riot
terrible
lovers.
But, and it's not even the world's best gamers for League of Legends because they deliberately stifle and suppress how many teams can attend an IEM. You're allowed, like, whatever it is, like 2 or 4 LCS franchises, and sometimes not even that. And it's all at the behest of Riot. So if I was Intel and I was paying as much as I was paying to have the world's best gamers, I'd be furious because it's falling short because of Riot's brand of politics. And it must be said, only Riot. Blizzard have never said, right? You think about Blizzard and Valve, right? You think about the relationship they must have. Blizzard and Valve almost went to court over the Dota 2 franchise because obviously the original Defense of the Ancients, it's a Warcraft 3 mod. It's got intellectual property that comes from Blizzard Games. It was a Blizzard modding community that made the game. Valve got around some of the IP issues by having it not as an acronym, but actually just as Dota. It's just a label now. And they were going to sue each other over it. There was a court case. It was all settled. Riot, of course, what they did while that was going on, they threw in a copyright claim on Defense of the Ancients, which they had absolutely no claim to, just to be a pain in the ass, because why not? Anyway, that court case got all squashed and put to bed. Now, at any point, did Blizzard go, we don't know how we feel about StarCraft being anywhere near a Dota 2 or Counter-Strike tournament. We've got bad blood with Valve. No, they didn't say that. This is like just a very unique and specific Riot thing.
Well, dude, fucking Riot is esports. That's what you're forgetting. It's like League of Legends is esports. Like this is Riot's world, dude. You're just living in it.
Yeah, but that's literally how they portray it, right? I mean, do you think am I OTT?
I mean, you're exactly right, but that's just the way it is, Richard. What are you gonna do about it? You can preach to the choir all you want, but this is the hand we're dealt, and no one man is gonna change that.
Well, no, not one man.
I for one hate the
you cannot kill an idea, Joe.
Side. I hate the political side of it and shit. I just love League of Legends, so all this is like, yeah, it's just like I hate this, but I'll put up with it to watch League of Legends. I guess that's how everybody else feels too. It's like, it's a fun game to watch. It's kind of bullshit what's going on, but how are we going to change it, And how are we going to change it, Richard? What's your plan?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the way I look at it is the landscape is evolving, all right? The landscape is changing. I believe no matter what infographics Riot are going to put out, for starters, I do believe that League of Legends is plateaued now. Now, what they're not going to increase the player base much beyond what they've got. And what they need to do now is start increasing engagement. Well, you increase engagement and you increase understanding by altering the way you've done things in terms of the broadcast. I don't mean taking the best fucking broadcast from the best region and bastardizing it and diluting it and putting in your own talent and sticking your ingredients into a gumbo that already tasted pretty damn nice. I'm not talking about that. What I think is going to happen is they're going to have to talk to TV stations and maybe go down the route the CSGO League has with Turner. I think they're going to have to take some drastic measures.
Holy, could you just imagine League of Legends like CSGO? Just like imagine, okay, cut out all the smaller like lands like Fragbite from the equation. Just imagine League of Legends in that type of circuit. I would be so hype. The intensity would be increased than it is for LCS, but in a good way because it's a new story every time.
Yeah.
And like, I don't care if Riot are going to switch up patches. It makes sense to do that when you have different tournaments every time and circuits because I don't know. I feel like that open circuit would just like I would have the most fun doing that. Coaching for that, like constantly under pressure, constantly just like doing shit like that. I would just do that in a fucking heartbeat.
New opponents from parts of the world you couldn't possibly prepare for, coming to play you in a one-off international tournament, high stakes. This is like, I do lament the passing of the international circuit, even though I love the LCS format and I think it's great in terms of broadcasting. But I think Riot need to compromise. There's a middle ground here. No one wants to take away LCS. No one's saying we want the international circuit instead of LCS. We want an international circuit that augments LCS, that gives us these storylines. Like even in like the fucking Premier League, we've got the FA Cup, We've got the League Cup. We've got the European Cup.
Use LCS to support this open circuit. Don't make LCS like the end-all only thing that there is. 2 full seasons of LCS is good, but think about it. Some League players only play 18 games a season. All right?
Yeah.
Counter-Strike players play 18 games a LAN.
Yeah.
Like, just think about it. That's literally it. So in League of Legends, you see your favorite team will play 18 games in a season, plus maybe playoffs, maybe the MSI if they're the first place team. Your favorite CS:GO team will probably play half of that in one LAN, even if they don't win it. Even if they place halfway, they'll play like 8 or 9 games. If they win it, they could play even up to 20. You know, just think about that. Like, I think when you compare it, it's ridiculous almost.
Yeah, I mean, it plus just in terms of how Riot have kind of they've rejected a lot of other ideas that I think not just relating to the open circuit, but just format wise and. Like the way that All-Stars, like if you want to do an All-Stars thing, do an All-Stars thing. Don't call it All-Stars and then make it some piss weak international tournament. Make it like All-Stars, like you would get in an NBA. I think they're really struggling with some of the ideas. And they say in interviews, we're all big sports nuts here. We're all big sports fanatics. Well, you've got the bedrock of something that could be really, really good. But what we've all craved is more regions competing against each other, new storylines. Like, this has to happen. And I honestly believe as we move into 2016, I think Riot are going to have to alter, they're going to have to budge on a few things. They're going to have to alter their vision to do what's good for the sport. Otherwise, it's going to peter out. Same as every
lineup just got released, by the way.
The what did?
H2K lineup for IEM.
Ooh.
Odoamne, Jankos, Ryu, Forgiven, Vander.
Forgiven.
Ooh,
I mean, that's interesting because I know they'd had talks with him, but it looked like they were being. I didn't know if that was.
I knew this was coming for a long time now. Yeah,
I'm glad, man.
Yeah, that's a really solid roster. I'm a little bit sad because Yarnen's not there, but I know Yarnen's going to a pretty good team, so it'll be good. That's a solid roster. Mate,
I'm happy for Forgiven. Yeah, he's going to be a fucking beast. Well, look, let's take a break. We're kind of the show's flying by. So we'll take a break from bashing on Riot and we'll say watch this space. I was going to talk about Worlds. We'll leave Worlds. I mean, we all know what happened. The take-home points was like NA got fucking long-dicked. China weren't great. Let's just talk about one thing: retirement of Dyrus. I thought this was interesting because, first of all, there was lots going on. I mean, it's the passing of a sporting legend, a very iconic.
Here's the thing. I don't think Dyrus is retired. I think he's just taking a break. Like, the guy's been at it for so long.
No one really retires in esports.
Yeah, basically. He'll be back. He'll be back.
I don't think he'll be back.
Maybe that.
Tell us why you don't think he'll be back, Josh.
Okay, the whole time that I watched him as Season 5 kind of trickled down, he looked less like he wanted to win shit with TSM. He just looked like he wanted it to be over with. I mean, at Worlds, he just, like, from the look on his face to, like, how TSM and how he was playing, it's just like he wanted to be over with so bad. I think he's in a good spot right now. I mean, QtPie's not back. He's just been streaming. I think Dyrus will kind of take the same route.
QtPie makes like $1 million every time he streams.
And Dyrus can too. Why can't Dyrus? He's probably more famous than QtPie.
I don't think Dyrus speaking to him, listening to him. I think he appreciates like the money, but I don't think he's 100% for it. Like, I think he'd rather do something he enjoys rather than just stream for that fucking Skrilla.
I don't know, man. I mean, that's nice and stuff, but I think he's learned to appreciate other things outside of playing professionally. That's just my opinion. It's your opinion, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, I mean, how did we feel about, first of all, was it the right time for him to retire? I mean, do you feel that, it sort of become a bit of a transparent happening? All you had to do was sort of camp top. Dyrus would overextend. You could get that first blood up there. People were always going to do it. It seemed to really be putting him under pressure and immense scrutiny, and it wasn't good for the team. There was a lot of people saying he was washed up. I don't subscribe to that. I still think he's obviously one of the greatest.
I don't think he was washed up. I just do think that he was burnt out.
Yeah,
I think it's a good time for him to retire because he's allowed NA talent forehead to develop to the point where TSM were able to find a suitable replacement in Hanser. Like a year ago, Hanser was good, but he wasn't at the same level as he is now. Hanser now has a year of LCS experience. And take a look at this new TSM lineup, which is arguably like one of the best TSM lineups we've ever seen. If the rumors that they are getting Yellow Star is true, that lineup is fucking scary.
I mean, put it this way, I didn't know if they could replace Lustboy, but they do. You know, if they get Yellow Star, I mean, you know, I think he's been. Everyone raves like not everyone raves about him, but like obviously everyone recognizes his talent. But I almost think it's still a bit too downplayed. Like, I thought Yellow Star was just instrumental that Fnatic team's success, and watching them kind of break apart is a sad story.
I think if TSM nabbed Yellow Star, it would be bigger in my opinion than them getting Double Lift. It's just
it would
like,
be.
Double Lift is a shock factor, but Yellow Star is like getting shit done, you know?
Yellow Star is the second most celebrated EU player behind Expeke. If we're talking about actual fans, Expeke is the most. But if you're talking about actual like accomplishment in esports, Yellow Star is like the they've done.
Yeah, well, I how certain are we that it's going to go ahead? I mean, do we feel, you know, that
you never know? You never know until, and we've just been DDoSed.
Have we really?
We're back, almost.
Okay.
Almost.
All right. So, and what's it called? It's big. Like, if they do get him, he's big, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the DDoS is real.
Oh, wait. We might be offline. Give me a sec.
Fuck's sake, Sam. All right.
Come on, Sam.
No, we're back. We're good,
boys.
We're good. So yeah, I mean, let's talk about that TSM lineup. Obviously, people were worried where it was going when they were kind of, you know, dismantling it and taking it apart. They brought in
TSM will never be the same.
Yeah, all of that. They won't. This
Dyrus
is an upgrade, right? Like, if that lineup is real, that is one of the best TSM lineups assembled, right?
Double Lift has really bad game sense, but he's a really strong mechanical player. Bjergsen is Bjergsen, obviously. I think Svenskeren he's underrated now. People don't think he's that good, but he's actually quite good. Hanser is also really, really fucking good. And then you put Yellow Star, who's like so smart, with Double Lift, who isn't that smart. And Yellow Star,
Cutie Pie, dumb as bricks.
Okay, dumb as bricks. But the guy's got mechanics. So think about this, right? Double Lift and Chouster were the best bot lane ever for CLG back in season 2? Was it 2?
Yeah.
They're bringing the EU Chouster. Obviously, not. I don't want to say that Yellow Star is Chouster, but like at that time, Chouster was the smartest player in his role, and Yellow Star is the smartest player in his role now. So Yellow Star is probably the smartest support, and you're putting him with one of the best AD carries in NA. Obviously, that's going to be a disgusting bot lane.
What do we feel about what they've done with the jungling situation? Because, you know, I did feel that. I don't know. I mean, like a lot of people were critical of about a brain fart, about a brain melt. The guy who went out, Danish guy.
Santorin.
Santorin, thank you. Santorin wasn't getting stuff done. He came onto the scene. He was pretty good to begin with, and then he had some up and down tournaments. And then towards the end, it was like people weren't even lamenting his passing. I still think he was a really talented player. And now they're talking about bringing in Sven, obviously. And is how much of an upgrade is that?
I think it's an upgrade. The thing about Santorin is that I do think that he's a good player. It's just that he was misutilized in TSM. And I would put that more on the coaching staff rather than on the player himself. I mean, it's not really that much to say that TSM's coaching staff prior was, I want to say, inadequate, or I don't want to it was incompetent. When Reginald has to step in to do that shit, then something's fucked up. But he also they claimed that they replaced him due to a conflicting lifestyle, where Santorin is all about health and shit. He wakes up at 7 a.m. every morning. I mean, I can see why you'd have a hard time. Connecting with that, but I don't think that's a big reason. I think Santorin is good, misutilized on TSM, and I know that he will be on an LCS team next season. And I do hope that he'll perform well, or at least be put more in his comfort zone than he was when he was on TSM.
Josh?
I always thought Santorin was really good when he played on Coast in the challenger scene. It kind of surprised me that everybody turned on him so hard. I think he was, again, misutilized on TSM, and I think maybe a little bit of Dyrus rubbed off on him, where Dyrus is, again, wanting the season to be over with. I think Santorin kind of started to feel the same way. I know he was, decently close with Dyrus. They like work out together and stuff. So I'm just speculating here. I don't know, but I really think a little bit of Dyrus maybe rubbed off on him.
Well, and it's just that sort of lethargy and you know, like kind of despondency, kind of,
Just kind of like, you know what, I'm not like he can't. He's kind of like, okay, I've done like maybe TSM's opinion of me isn't changing. I'm trying my best to get better, but maybe like they've already made up their mind. This is
a Dunzo situation.
Yeah, it's a Dunzo situation. Like Bjergsen's lost his faith. Not necessarily Bjergsen, but maybe TSM in general.
Oh my god, they've lost their faith. They've lost the trust, boys. It's a Dunzo.
Well, once it's gone, you're out. So obviously they bit the bullet as well, and finally, in a move that people have been saying this probably needs to happen. People have been saying this for a while. Obviously, WildTurtle's out and is likely to be at Immortals, I believe.
I mean, it's been announced that he's on Immortals already. He's a top laner who needs the AD carry.
No,
that's the joke. It's the meme that Hooney wanted to join.
I don't want to endorse the meme. So yeah,
WildTurtle's a player when he was at his mechanical peak was disgustingly good.
Yeah.
The problem is that he has really big lows as well. Like WildTurtle is not someone you look to say he's going to consistently carry every game. No, WildTurtle is someone that may go even in lane, and some games will not hard carry, but some games will absolutely just 1v9 everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the thing. Like, you obviously know the guy's like a solo Q god. He's proven that like a million times.
Yeah, but think about it. Do you really need this type of player when you have Bjergsen, who's always going to do better than the opposing mid laner?
Yeah, well, what type of AD carry would you rather have? Like, give me a name that you'd rather have with Bjergsen than WildTurtle.
I think Doublelift. No, actually, I don't actually think Doublelift. It's like Bjergsen. I think adding Doublelift, while he's also not the most consistent player, is more consistent than WildTurtle in terms of mechanical skill. So Bjergsen doesn't have to carry because Doublelift has shown that he can carry games quite hard. So I think Doublelift actually does fit well. Altec would have also been okay. I mean,
why couldn't it have been Forgiven?
Well, well, for one, I don't think that using an import slot in AD carry is that smart when NA has actually quite solid AD carries.
Okay,
that's one reason. And Forgiven, he's got a pretty harsh personality. I don't think.
Form some strong opinions of his teammates.
Yeah,
I think he could survive.
Let's be real. Forgiven would tear apart any North American support. Like, he would tear apart any support. You put him on a team with fucking Adrian. Man, Adrian had a hard time on TIP when he was claiming that everyone was saying, "Oh, no one believes in me" and shit. Like, I feel for him sometimes. It sucks to have no one face. But if he had Forgiven on his team, man, Adrian would be taking it in the ass every fucking scrim for every small mistake he made.
This is the thing, though. He was well open to NA. Obviously, we know he nearly went to NA before, and I'm pretty sure the second time around, with the whole Gambit situation being I'm pretty sure he may even have had talks with CLG again ahead of this, Doublelift transfer. So I mean, I keep thinking like Forgiven to NA is like destiny, but it hasn't happened. It just doesn't seem to crop up, and I still think he, no disrespect to H2K, I think this is an elite level player that deserves to be in an elite level organization. This is like Europe's fucking MVP or whatever. Like, it's it just seems crazy to me that he's going to be that far down the food chain.
I don't think it necessarily matters the org he's playing with, but I mean, Ram, how would you rate H2K's roster against the rest of Europe? I don't have a really good perception of how they stack up.
It's a pretty solid roster. Like, I think Vander's good. Yankos is pretty good. Ryu is quite solid, and Odamne obviously is really good. Then you got Forgiven. Like, on paper, this roster does look solid as hell.
Okay, well, we can agree that probably Origin's the best team in Europe right now, right? Over Fnatic, under Fnatic?
I mean, I would actually put them all like even, like Fnatic and Origin even next split. Just depends how developed, if this Spirit Gamzu rumor is true, how developed these two players can be for the team. It's like, as well as their new support. I would actually put Origin slightly above Fnatic in the beginning, but after a split, I think Fnatic could contend with Origin. Because when you think about Origin, have literally changed nothing. They have added one player and probably one of the most talented mid laners in EU to their roster. They've just become so versatile as a team. And Fnatic are losing the mastermind behind their gameplay. Either in-game gameplay.
We've been all over the place here in terms of talking all this roster stuff, but we were going to get to this Fnatic thing anyway. So I'll ask you, first of all, the Spirit thing to me seems incredibly legit, because what people probably don't remember before is that they got Rain over. They had talks with Spirit right then, and they just felt he was too expensive. They didn't want to spend the money. They were still at that point. They were still in talks with the possibility of retaining. I think it was SOAS hadn't left by that point. I think XPeke was definitely out the door. But anyway, it was just simply they didn't feel that they could meet his salary demands. So they're very well known to this player. They already have the channels of communication open. So that makes complete sense to me. Now, obviously, with your relationship with Dignitas, Ram, it would be tough for you to talk about Gamsu, right? Or would it?
I mean, no, it's not actually tough for me to talk about it. It's just that I made a really stupid decision to comment in one sentence about the inner workings of Team Dignitas, and it was really unprofessional. So it kind of gave off the wrong idea. It's like people think that, oh, he's just salty, and no, it's not true. Like, I don't hate Gamsu. It's nothing about that. I think he's a really talented mechanical player. It just didn't work on Dig. Like that's it. It's not that he wasn't good enough or didn't speak English. It just didn't work. And I think that he's talented. He's definitely had ridiculous highs, and if he can be developed as a player by a better coach, which Daler is obviously a much better coach than me, then I could definitely see success there. Same with Spirit. Like Spirit in the last major online, LAN performance that we've seen, completely dominated with World Elite. So this guy definitely has potential to do a lot of good. Is Gamsu a step down from Huni? I mean, I was calling that Huni was going to be a monster in the LCS when he played, but before he even played, and you guys were laughing at me, and I was fucking right, so suck it. I would say Gamsu is slightly a step down from Huni. That doesn't mean that he can't be developed, though. And Fnatic,
I think it's inarguably a step down. Huni was a fucking monster.
Yeah, Huni was a monster, but at the same time, he also had tilt issues. I mean, every player is going to have some tilt issues.
Gamsu doesn't?
Shit, I'd have tilt issues if he got me to top 4 world. Shit. Give me all them tilt issues.
No, it's like, I think that it's a solid roster move, especially the Spirit, but I don't know. Gamsu definitely has the mechanical talent. It's just going to be about integrating him into the team. Like that's basically all Fnatic need to do, is just need to integrate these new players into the team, which obviously it's easier said than done. And they can be a really solid EU team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Fnatic have got some big shoes to fill. There's no doubt about that. And I think it's really sad.
I mean, but we say that, sorry to interrupt you, but we say that about every year. Like last year, it was Febiven filling Xpeke shoes. And now,
yeah, but I mean, you
gotta fill in Yellow Star shoes. It's like Fnatic just create superstars. Right?
Yeah,
and
but
they've
I mean,
done it every single time.
That's gonna run out at some point. You can't back that. I mean, look, I'm gonna say this. Like, yeah, Fnatic have done some incredible drafting. There's no doubt about it. We all looked at that team of rookies plus Yellow Star back when it was announced, and on this very show, we were like, this is a team that could potentially be battling against relegation. We all know how that panned out.
No, I didn't say that. I said the only shit player on this team was Rainover, and Huni's a monster. I was wrong about Rainover. He wasn't complete shit.
Exactly. So
that was the only thing that
we were all wrong. Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to recognize that. But I don't think the evidence was there to sort of even substantiate what actually went on to happen. We couldn't possibly have known. I'm inclined.
I just gotta say, I missed this. Me and you battling over EU while Josh falls asleep. Like this is classic First Blood.
Yeah, this is what it's
classic about. Fucking First Blood.
Who are these fucking people? I want to talk about
me. It's like me trying to talk, Richard trying to choke the answers from me, and Josh falling asleep.
We're talking about Europe, and we're talking about Gamsu, Rainover, and Huni. Europe. Oh boy.
Yeah, let's talk about North America. Bjergsen, Yellow Star, Svenskeren.
Let's talk about
North America with Ackerman, No Name, Zhao Wei, Zhao Vasily, and more. Some fucking classic American heroes that we've got here.
I'm just saying those 3 players that you're talking about are just vintage North Americans or have been. So thanks for taking our players.
Yeah,
So,
we would need to take Koreans if you can stop fucking offering our players more than the patented EU salary of 5.5 fucking
you wealthy
K.
asshole.
I'm sorry, you Euro poors can't catch up. I mean, that's just the way of life, man.
Right. Let's talk about this is an interesting one. I want to talk about Quas. This is where we can bring
This is really unfortunate.
Unlucky.
well, what the right? Okay, I'll give my summary, my independent journalistic summary. So we see Quas makes a I guess it would be fair to describe it as strange post on his official Facebook page, where he starts talking about Hugo Chavez and life in Venezuela and his life and things that he's done and his feelings and thoughts about political issues, which generally players obviously tend to stay away from because we simply don't have a community in League of Legends that's robust enough to deal with it. In fact, honest opinions of any kind are very problematic for our 14-year-old audience. So he then is suspended, and it's never been clarified why. There's obviously rumors circulating, but it's never been clarified why publicly. Team Liquid have never said. And then a day after his suspension, Quas announces his retirement, says he wants to do things with his life, says he's battled with depression and anxiety and used gaming as a mechanism to, insulate himself from the worst side effects of that mental condition. And Quas is out. And Team Liquid obviously withdrew, I think, from the upcoming IEM tournament as a result of that. Now,
it's very obvious what happened, Ben.
Tell me.
He drop kicked someone. No, it's not like that. It's like obviously like we have to. I don't really want to go into detail about this because I don't know.
I wouldn't blame you. That's why I was going to get Josh to do it.
I don't want to go into the full story because I want to respect his privacy. Quas has always been a great guy. He's always been super nice. He's always been super serious about his job, and he became one of the premier top laners in North America. You know, off a challenger team where he played like Poppy once or twice, and Swain. Like this guy has made a name for himself, and it's really unfortunate that it had to end like this. You know, because some depression is a big deal, and it's very clear that he's just been having issues with it, and I believe that it's just got to the point where it's too much, and I think the guy needs a break. He needs to find himself, quote unquote, and I mean, that's basically all there is to it. And I don't think that we need to talk about this more because I want to respect the guy's privacy, and no one really knows exactly what happens.
I can't respect anyone's privacy,
mate. But we're getting to it's at a point where this guy has done absolutely nothing wrong, and he just wants to move on.
No,
with his
I
life.
don't think he's done anything wrong. But here's the case then: if we're standing by the stance that he hasn't done anything wrong, then this is a manifestation of a condition. Why on earth did Team Liquid suspend him? Why would you suspend somebody who's sick?
I don't think they actually suspended him. I believe that's just a wording that they used. I think he just told Liquid, like, look, I can't do this anymore, and they're like, all right, we suspend you and we'll find a new top laner. That we should be talking more about the replacement rather than what happened to Quas, because the guy's obviously been dealing with something.
We shall. Yeah. Josh, do you stand by Ram's approval?
I think this
should be off limits.
I mean, I don't want to talk too much into it, but I do agree that with you on they suspended him for a reason. The reason, unbeknownst to us, we'll never know. I don't know, but I don't think they suspended him for a mental health condition. Shit, I think we've all had our downs. We've not. Shit, I know.
I mean, you've definitely had your downs.
Fucks.
God damn it, Ram. Anyway, like, I don't know. Sometimes playing League sucks, and sometimes
is off limits. But we can reference Down syndrome, of course. That's
unreal, isn't it? Like. We're trying to be all serious and shit. Ram's like, guys, I really want to seriously respect this individual's right to privacy and health. And then, what's up, Josh? Down syndrome? I mean, come on, man. Anyway, come on.
No, but it's okay. It's okay to shit talk Josh. I mean, it's just fine.
He is a co-host, right?
It's just banter. It's just
like
banter.
two years in a row that Quas has been like this close to Worlds, and it's just like shit. That would make me pretty depressed. I mean, it's probably not that exactly. It's definitely a culmination of things, but I mean. Fuck, that's sometimes playing League professionally sucks ass, and it's probably gotten the best of him. And I'll respect his privacy, and it sucks. But
I mean, at this point, like, here's the thing that I'm worried about. It's just that we will never know exactly what happened, and anything we say will hurt his reputation, which I don't want to because he's done absolutely nothing wrong.
I don't want to do that. I'm one of the most sympathetic motherfuckers out there to this mental health issue and the stigma.
You're sympathetic. You just like helping. You just like helping people. Loda says, "Hey, I want help not breathing." So
maybe he was give him the Heimlich, dude. He didn't know the proper,
Exactly. No one's.
He's choking.
No one's heard my side of the story. He was eating a Swedish meatball, and he didn't chew it very well. It got lodged. It got lodged in his throat, and I tried the Heimlich. It didn't work.
That's why. Is that why he came up to you because he was choking? You're like, oh, I'm okay.
It is, right? Can I just say as well, because the choking meme is obviously with us. A choke implies that there would have been a loss of air at any point. And that's that.
Well, it's weird that he would come to you for help choking, because if he needed help with choking, he'd go to Nintendude, because statistically he's been choking since he started League of Legends.
That's absolutely.
By the way, I just want to point out
we turned it round, and as long as I'm not the one getting it, Josh, I'm going to throw you under that bus.
Oh, it's good to be back.
Wait, listen. I wasn't joking about Down syndrome. I meant like career downs.
Yes.
Obviously, I wouldn't joke about Down syndrome on a stream. That's
you're not ESCA. Obviously, you're not ESCA, so you wouldn't joke about that. But anyway, so look,
Quas is a great dude. Quas is a great dude.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. So, like, if it is a mental health issue that's happened here, and it's I think when he's feeling ready, I think it would, if he wants to do some good, which he says he does. I think you should talk openly about it, what the pressures were, what the trigger points were, what the support infrastructure was like in esports and around him, who offered him support, where he felt he could turn to. And if there wasn't anybody who offered him support and there wasn't anybody he could turn to, then we need to be fucking explicit about that and talk about what we can do in future to have this kind of infrastructure. Because, of course, in professional sports with professional athletes, you have access to sports psychologists, mental health professionals. All of these people are around you. If a star player for a team,
didn't we talk about this? Mental health in esports is just like considered a joke in a lot of ways. Like we had Glebe incident, which is unfortunate, but like I think we had a long episode.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we do. And look where we are. Look how long we've been off air, and what the fuck has changed. Players are still getting smashed under the hammer of pressure and acting up in ways. And what's happening is we're finding an unsympathetic community, which I guess is par for the course for reasons I've referenced earlier. But we're also finding an unsympathetic professional environment where, what I'm saying is, if Quas has really made the decision that he really wants to retire and he's decided it's not worth it, and it wasn't made under duress or while he was having an episode relating to a mental health issue, that's absolutely fine. That's what adults do every goddamn day. But if this has happened as a result of stress, anxiety, depression, and he's felt pressured interacting in a certain way, and there hasn't been any support, and an organization hasn't said to him, like, hey, why don't we talk about this? Why don't we just put you down to a substitute for a while? You can have relaxed duties. We can get you some therapy. We'll talk about this. If that hasn't happened, then that's a goddamn disgrace.
I just don't think we're just there yet. Like, I mean, I've definitely had moments where I was stressed, like so stressed that I punched a wall, and
I hit the wall one.
Nothing happened to the wall, obviously, because it's not the smartest thing. But it's like, obviously, stress gets to people, but
no, it definitely fucking does. So let's
It's fucking phenomenal.
That'll relax you. Some nice champ. So let's talk about replacement. Josh, this is your region. You're the expert. Yep. Who's going to replace Quas and Team Liquid? Who's man enough?
I mean, from all the rumors lately, it's looking like Lorlo, who's
the
top lane challenger player. He's been kind of around for a little while. He hasn't played that much competitively, but he did play the last split with CLG Black. Maybe it was the split before that. I mean, he's solid, but we haven't seen that much of him on a good team though. So you never know. CLG Black was never a really good challenger team lately. So I mean, hopes are high, and I think he's probably one of the better players they could have gotten. I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head that would have been a whole lot better. He's looking like Lorlo.
I feel like the hearts of Team Liquid fans sank once they will be looking deep into NA Challenger for this replacement.
Yeah, it's like, please no, please import somebody.
Not like this, not like fucking this.
Yeah, it's rough.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's
honestly,
top lane,
you know what I would have done? I would have dropped Piglet, taken an import top laner, and put Keith in. That's what I would have done.
Bold move, Cotton.
I would have actually done that. Like, while I do think that Lorlo, Billy Boss, Zig, they're solid top laners. I feel like
another player. I'm surprised they didn't go with Zig. He's on their challenger team. Maybe it would
maybe
have
they just want
interfered
to
with
keep
an
him on their
ACS.
challenger team.
I guess so, but Zig has kind of molded himself into a really good top lane player lately, I've noticed. In my opinion.
I would have honestly just put Keith in. Keith Smoothie seems like it's a bot lane that would do well. They're both young. They both can learn a lot, especially if they're getting like a good coaching staff. They could be developed. Getting a solid top laner as well to just round off the team and make it a rebuilding split. Go solid for the split and then look to develop for the summer. That's what I would have done if I was in Liquid's shoes. I think Keith is solid as fuck.
Apparently, there's been an article by Josh Raven that just got posted. That
Josh Raven? You mean Jacob Wolf?
Well,
think about it, right?
Don't you mean Richard Lewis?
No, just think about it, right? See, Jacob and it's like Jacob and Josh both start with the J.
God damn it, Ram! Let me get to my point.
Wolf and Raven, both animals. I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy.
God.
Right? They're the
Stop
same.
memeing.
Person.
Pretend you're a coach for now. Stop memeing.
Right.
Apparently, Fnatic's looking to sign Noxiac. Is that opinion on that?
I know they trialed a lot of supports. Noxiac, one of them. So he's pretty good. Like,
but come on, dude. Like,
Are you thrilled about that?
Sure, he's good, but I mean, you're replacing Yellowstar, man. That's some pressure shit.
All right. Let's be real. Who the fuck are you gonna get to replace Yellowstar? There's obviously no one that's as good. Oh, okay. Well, Kasing. All right. Listen, Fnatic. I know where Kasing is going, right? And trust me, I think he's happier where he is.
All right.
Than he'd be on Fnatic. Let's just say that, yeah.
Okay, let's just say that. It's not like you, Ram. Usually you dish the dirt. I don't like that, Ram.
Not gonna talk about it.
No
No,
more.
yeah, exactly, mate. He's got a Riot t-shirt on underneath that t-shirt.
That's not a Riot shirt. This is a Blizzard shirt, all right?
I heard his kidney stones were in the shape of miniature fists when they were removed. It fucking disgusts me. But all right, so Noxiac, look, hey, good player. This could be, like you said, Ram. You said it yourself. Fnatic makes superstars, right?
This is Daylor's chance to turn decent to above average players into LCS professionals. And if the Spirit Gamza rumors are true, honestly, like, it's not even about just player personalities. It's like integrating a team like that is gonna be fucking hard. You know?
Well, I mean,
they did it before.
Yeah, didn't they win 2 straight splits of
no, but like, you think that Fnatic is like, all right, we put this team together, let's just integrate them. All right, boys, huddle up and fucking integrate. Like, it doesn't work like that. All right.
Why not?
Obviously, it's in
Brokenshard coaching methods revealed. I think.
You know what? I hope this time you're wrong, so we can look back a year from now and be like, you were wrong, Brokenshard. Fuck you. So
no, I'm saying I think that he can do it. He can do it.
Oh, come on, dude. You can't shotgun answer like that. You got to pick one or the other.
I'm not saying that he can't do it. I've never said that he can't do it. I think if anyone's going to fucking do it, it's Daylor. And by the way, I said Noxiac was decent. Spirit's good. All right, shut up. Talking to Twitch chat there. But, like, they did it once with Reignover and Huni, and it's not going to be easy, but, I mean, they could do it. Like, it's possible. They might not be the same 18-0 Fnatic, but it's definitely going to take time to turn Noxiac into Yellowstar, if it'll ever happen.
Right.
So you're saying they can, but they couldn't, but they also could, but couldn't.
I mean, Daylor's the only guy who can fucking do it. Let's be real, right? The guy's worked with Yellowstar closely for a year. He also has Reckless and Febivin, who have also worked with Yellowstar for a year, Reckless even longer. Like, Fnatic is the team with the experience, the structure, and basically the experience and structure to turn these players into a solid team.
One of the bit of transfer stuff that's going to impact on next season, and then I think we'll wrap up the show. Koobs is going to come on, actually.
Oh my fucking god!
So I don't know what he's going to say, but I'm looking.
Richard,
forward to
I have scrims in
Koobs.
15.
Yeah. Don't worry.
He's got somewhere to be.
Don't worry. The last thing you hear before you go into those scrims is going to be Koobs saying, "What's up with that, bro?" So.
Oh my fucking god!
We'll get into that. Look, this is first, but this is what people want.
Okay. Chat spam not like this. Not like this.
But here's the thing. Cloud9 obviously made some big changes as well. And the sort of evolution of Cloud9, it was always going to be a bit more difficult than like other lineups. They were the longest roster historically. in terms of cohesion, and they had to sort of slowly take bits. We saw High go out and Carnation come in, and then High was back and Meteos was out. And no. Well, obviously, Jacob Wolf, our friend, back in November, did break the story that Rush and Bunny Fufu were going to be in there. Now, obviously, Rush was getting a lot of plaudits, for his seasonal performance. What do we think of this Cloud9 with this roster here?
For which roster?
Well, they have now Balls, Rush, Incarnation, Sneaky, and then Bunny/High.
I think they'll do. I think they'll do okay. Like, obviously, it's going to be better than 7th place C9, but like Rush is talented, Incarnation is talented, Balls is okay. Sneaky is quite good. And it's like High is not going to be like a top tier support, but he obviously does something for the team that makes them perform better. Mm-hmm. And I guess they're just trying to develop Bunny to be that guy so that High can fucking retire and
finally retire,
lay in bed with swarms and swarms of women.
Yeah. And which he can't do anything to because his wrists are fucked.
Like poor guy, the guy.
Just like being hell on earth. It's like
I think he's one of the first players that I've ever seen that wants to retire but literally just can't.
Yeah, I mean,
like it's so ironic when you think about it. Like players like I don't want to retire but you have to, and High is like I want to retire but I can't. Like
just let me die. Please.
Just let me die already.
Stop resuscitating me. This sucks.
All right, no, we got to wrap this up because I got to get ready for stream.
Yeah. Okay, so we just final thoughts on that then. C9 are going to be better than 7th place C9, but they're not contenders.
Think that Lemon is going to be a much better coach than people expect.
Yeah, Lemon.
I think that's strategically he's smart, but I don't know how well he is in getting players' respect.
I think in the whole.
Do we know if Bubba's still working with them as well?
Yeah, Bubba's still working with them.
Yeah,
probably
that's gonna be
it's going to be helpful. I think the support stuff definitely got better, and it'll be more solid coming into the next split.
Their coaching staff is going to be great, like going into the next split. I think that's really important. I think they might have a little bit of growing pains like they did with Incarnation, but Rush is a fucking star, and I think they'll probably be middle of the pack to begin with, but I can see them making like a late season run like they always do.
Right, so let's do it. Let's get Coobs on, and then we can close out the show because we've all got places to be. So Coobs, Sam, free the Coobs.
Joe, are you going upstairs?
Release the Kraken.
Could you just take my jacket upstairs? I don't want this down here anymore.
And I think we're just going to do him audio only, so we're not going to change the overlay.
We'll show his head, mate. We'll show his head.
What, we're going to show his head? All right,
massive head.
We'll show his massive head. Coobs.
He's missing the boat.
Yeah, Coobs, this is it, mate. If you don't get here, we're going to...
There he is.
Hey, guys.
How's it, Coobs?
It's been a long time, man. How are you guys?
Yeah, not too bad, brother. Not too bad.
I got a little Skype message when I woke up, and I rolled over and I said, "There's a first blood," and I was like, "I didn't get that memo."
Sorry, bro.
And
we wanted to hit on you in the first 5 minutes, so we didn't.
Oh, dude, what I missed? What did we say? Self-deprecating humor is always the best.
No. Basically, what the guy said
we said we liked you, but you're a cocky fuck. All right, next.
That's it. First blood. We're good.
Yeah, that's the
first blood banter. Did I miss this banter? I miss just being I miss when the chat just flames me, and then we just talk, and they just keep flaming, and then we keep talking. It's just a great time.
Yeah. Well, so what have you been up to, man? Because these guys have been saying you were coaching a team with Nintendude in, and it kind of all just went to shit.
So I'd wanted to work with Josh for a long time. And we had the off season come about, and basically what ended up happening was there was an opportunity for us to, start playing with a couple of players. We put a team together, and we ended up trialing with an organization called Top Dog Gaming. Roster-wise, it didn't work out. We all got along really well, but we couldn't win. We could not win against the higher end challenger teams. So that happened.
Story of your life, yeah.
Sick banter, man. Anyways, I stayed there until
he was in for a laugh.
I stayed there until the third week of November, but
shit, Sam's gone nuts again.
Mate.
It's the Coco Shunter all over
Yeah,
again.
mate. I hate it when
Uh,
Sam doesn't
If
get
I
it, mate.
could finish my
Yeah,
point.
absolutely, my
all,
friend.
all I see is rain.
Come on, Coobs.
Go on, Kublai.
The TLDR version, I guess, is Josh left after a while, and then I left after a while because it just wasn't. It didn't like. I don't know. I didn't feel good in that. It didn't feel right. I guess.
Did you leave though, Coobs? 'Cause I've heard
Yeah.
stories that you were benched.
Nah,
Would
I
you like
went.
to address those?
He's out of bed.
I mean, oh my god. Anyways,
100%.
I just I talked to them one day, and I was like, I kind of want to go home, and I went home, and that was the end of that. Not much else to say. It was fun to work with Nintendude after all this time. It was eye opening because I highly overrated how good he was. But beyond that, it was a great experience.
Holy shit! Bans!
Oh, oh,
yeah.
oh my god!
If Coops'
Wow.
video wasn't 8 seconds behind his audio, this would be sick.
Oh my
I like it, mate. I
god!
like it. He
It's
needs
like a
all the
re-
DDoS
It's
protection.
like a really shit kung fu film. He says stuff and then 10 seconds later.
I don't know.
like,
I honestly, I actually,
well, that's
I actually
unlucky.
don't know who's like more retarded, more stupid. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I actually, I
Wow.
don't know what's like worse to be overrated by Coobs or to be stupid enough to overrate Nintendude. Like,
Oh.
how stupid do you need to be to get to that point, right?
This is what I've missed. This is what I missed. When we turn on each other, that's the best part of the show.
God.
And that's what I do, Richard. I come here
Yeah.
and I pit people against each other, and it's just a battle royale.
Well, look, man. I only wanted to get you on quickly just so you could answer these, terrible.
Please.
Intense questions, yeah.
But we're gonna wrap up the show here. So I want to say, obviously, thanks for popping on, Coobs. It's great to see you're still doing well, and I still wish you all the best with your career. Obviously, Josh.
What career?
Well, it's still there. It's you know.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
working on it.
that's what I love about the show as well. If you look at it, right, actually, how the fuck is Ram doing the best out of all of us? Like, what the fuck is going on with this shit?
Because Ram is the most sophisticated of all of us, and he understands. When I worked with Ram, he
I'm
didn't know-
gonna just keep my fist. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just keep my fist
What-
in the air.
when I first worked with Ram, he didn't know anything about lane swaps, and then I talked to him, and he knew everything. The last time we talked, I was actually just like mind blown how smart he had become. Like, it was actually amazing to me how much knowledge Ram had like picked up and was able to actually use now. I was like very
He's
impressed.
always been a good
I listened
bullshit
to everything that Prawley told me about lane swaps.
Hey man,
So
it's gonna
we'll kill the show there. Obviously, Josh, it's great to see you, man.
Oh.
And I'm glad you're doing well. Coobs, of course, and Ram. I'll let you get to your scrims, but I'm super glad that you're doing well. We're going to be able to do this again, right? I mean, this isn't going to be like some weird one-off.
Gotta do it early in the morning because I do scrims from 12 to 3, 4 to 7, and after that I watch
Yeah.
replays for the rest of the day. So I just needs to be earlier in the day.
You got a guest host if you need one, Richard. I got some experience, you know.
Don't worry, I won't
Alright,
put you. I won't put.
Yeah, yeah. We'll
I won't put you through that
we'll
pain.
send some equipment
It's all
your way.
right. Coobs, you've made your appearance for the season, so thanks for that.
Yeah.
Maybe see you next year.
Yeah. Next year when we bring it back again after yet another
A
Reddit.
pleasure.
And Josh, you're good. You haven't got anything going on. Let's be real.
No, I'm good. I mean, thanks for having me again. I'm glad that
No,
you've taken me out of
this is your show.
unemployment
You
for
belong
now.
here. You belong here.
Yeah, I know.
This is-
I have something to do now in Brokenshard. Thank you. You got benched by Kez. So,
Yeah.
throwing that out there.
Actually, the U.S. Embassy benched him. How dare you?
outrageous.
I got replaced by a fucking sightstone, man. You couldn't get enough money off your first clear to buy a sightstone. I don't know what's worse.
Wow. So we'll end there. Thanks for sort of playing catch up. I think we'll have a much more structured show next time, which hopefully
First
we
blood
can
and
do
rapture in the
sometime
same
next week. If you need to do it early in the morning, Ram, fuck it. I'll set my alarm.
It's like you cleared the jungle.
But anyway, thanks a lot.
Listen,
guys.
listen,
Thanks
one
a lot
sec.
for watching.
No. We don't end it here. We don't end it here. Okay, listen, Nintendude.
Go on.
The meme about you has been you've been holding Shifter back your entire career, man. You couldn't even fucking do that, right? You couldn't relegate Dignitas. You failed at the only thing you were good at. All right.
Oh my god.
Besides being human, besides being like a human mixer.
You know what, Brokenshard? I hope
wish Sky
this year
Williams was back.
Dignitas gets fucked harder than Sky got fucked by Donkey and Smash. All right, so fuck you.
This is your yearly reminder. Brokenshard rage quit when Sky roasted the living shit out of him on this show.
Fucking ass boy.
Right. So we will end the
Love
show
you
there,
all,
will we?
boys.
Before we all wreck each other.
Likewise.
Thanks for coming on. Josh, thanks for coming on. Ram, thanks for coming on. Sam, thanks for producing. Thanks to everyone who watched. We're back. We'll have a much more structured show next week, hopefully. We will let you know the place and time. Until then, this was First Blood. See you next time.
Rest in peace, EZ.